Good evening, everyone. Let me express right at the start my pleasure at being with you and at the opportunity to get to know this center and to see these lively faces. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, yes, is not just a role model, the role model. It's he who has sparked in us the passion for learning and the pursuit of scholarship. Let's remember in this context that the first word that Allah revealed, that Prophet Muhammad received, the first word that was impressed upon his heart was read. Iqra. The fact that Iqra is the first word in the Quran, the fact that in the very first revelation that was sent to humanity until eternity, the fact that was that revelation contained the tools for writing and the tools for scholarship and learning, the use of the pen. Read in the name of thy Lord. Read in the name of thy Lord, who taught you the use of penmanship, the use of pen. Using read, using writing, using the pen in the very first revelation is highly symbolic, very significant. It is not a coincidence that the very first word in the Quran, as I have said, is Iqra. This ummah, the last ummah, should go back to the Quran, should ponder upon this fact. We should read. We should take the path to scholarship and learning. This is the only way to know about Allah, the only way to lead a successful life here and in the hereafter. It's only the ignorant, those who do not know who he is, who might say Dinak, for example, or Rabbah. Those who know him, of him, conscious. The only way to become God conscious is to read, is to take read a way of life, is to take read. It's sad that Ummah Muhammad nowadays has gone too far away from read. And this is a major reason why we are, lagging behind. That we are at the bottom rung or step to the ladder of civilization. Our ancestors took read a way of life. Yes, they didn't have a PhD in English or jurisprudence or mathematics. These names, these labels, but they made history.
Yes.
The whole civilization of the West is based upon those scholars of Islam, Averroes, algorithm, even whole sciences in the West have been named following their contributions. Algebra from Al-Jabr, algorithm after Al-Khwarizmi, sociology. Who is the father of sociology? Ibn Khaldun. And as I said, no one of these people had, for example, a PhD or things have changed. Now we are concerned more about this piece of paper. I find that our students are concerned only about marks, what they label the exam mentality. They're only thinking about marks. We have stopped looking at learning as a value. We don't look at scholarship as something valuable in itself, but rather a means to something else. Well, fine. I mean, we can reconcile both. I want to have a degree, to get married, to get a job, to have a better life, fine. But don't make this your sole, aim behind learning. In order not to miss the real picture of why you've been instructed right from the start to read. It's to bring you closer to Allah. وَمَا قَدَرُ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِهِ. Why? Because they don't know who He is. I don't know if I have much time to go on or if I should,
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Take your time.
Yes, it is then Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the one who he brought to us this beacon of light. Beacon of light. And as I said, if we want to rule the world as our forefathers did, the only way is to get back to Iqra. This is the first way. Because once you take this, as I said, as a way of life, read, then you will know. You will appreciate Him. You will know about your Islam. Islam, I usually tell my, at least those who may ask me, those who suffer from laziness or they're sick of life, I tell them, no, read about Islam. You were born Muslim, but you don't know much about this beautiful system. Read about it, and it will make you successful. It will give you the energy, the power to go on, the power to cope with difficulties. It will make you passionate. Islam is a dynamic force, dynamic, motivating force. So for me, to be a Muslim and to be lazy doesn't work. To be a Muslim and to be a failure is inconceivable. You are a Muslim means you are the best. You are supposed to be the best. Allah has given us everything. Has given us the way, the method, the methodology, the ideology. We don't need to explore other systems, be it Marxism, socialism, Assadism, capitalism, Abbasism, any ism. We don't need. We have the system, and Allah has given us also in terms of material. Part of the reason why the West has invaded and is still invading the East is to get the resources of the East, petrol and other riches we have here, which the West is deprived of. They have started colonizing us following the industrial movement towards the end of the 19th century, which began in Britain, to get these riches. It's been said that Sudan, before it was divided, sadly, alone, if it is, if we make use of the soil of Sudan, it would be enough for the whole of the, as I said, the right way. We don't need to look for other systems that wane, that wax for some time and then wane.
Yes, true.
The Marxist or socialist system, the communist system, has been dismantled. In 1991, we've seen. So there were, among us, the Arab nations, people calling for socialism. At the time of Nasser, at the time of Gaddafi. We don't need, as I said, capitalism is going also to break down and dismantle soon. We have the ideology. تركت فيكم ما إن تمسكتم به لن تضلوا بعدي أبدا كتاب الله وسنتي. The riches, as I said, the resources in terms of material, and also Allah has given us manpower. The West depends on manpower from the East. How did they construct the New World, America? They used to go to the Africa and to take those savages, as they called them, those heathens, millions of people, dump them in boats where most of them would die, in the way to America. Most of them would die and be dumped in the ocean, Pacific Ocean, and a few would be left to construct America, to build. Who built America? People from the East, Africa, Asia, and probably Latin America. They look at us as heathens, as I said, as rats, as hogs and dogs. They call for a freedom, for liberty, but it's all charade, it's lies. But probably this is not now. So we have everything. There is no excuse for a Muslim to be, as I said, lagging behind. What do we need more from Allah? To send us angels down? You have the best ideology. You have the riches in our petrol in the Gulf, and manpower, because the Europe is poor in terms of manpower, in terms of these riches.
Yes.
And of course the ideology. Now it was as I said, Marxism, now capitalism, tomorrow will be another ism. Another ism. So what I'm trying to emphasize here in this happy occasion is the importance of getting back to read. This is the first start.
To be on the street.
This is the first needed thing if we are to rectify the situation, if we are to change this miserable reality, if we are to change this dismal state of affairs, we've got to get back to read. As I have said, our forefathers made history by taking read a way of life. The whole civilization of the West, as I have alluded to, is based on the works and contributions of Muslim scholars. And the grateful ones among them, however few they are, do not deny that. Do not deny that. Bertrand Russell, the Irish, I think, playwright and philosopher, once said that if a Prophet Muhammad is among us now, he could have solved the problems of the world while he is sipping a cup of coffee. So if we really love Prophet Muhammad and before him Allah, if we really want to celebrate his birthday, then we should follow him. And he said, من سلك طريقا يلتمس به علما سهل الله له به طريقا إلى الجنة. Allah, through the Quran, which was sent down to Muhammad, and through the tradition, the Sunnah, Allah has emphasized in numerous places, in numerous verses, probably out of the 6,336 verses in the Quran, about 1,000, in a way or another, talks about reading, talks about knowledge, the pursuit of knowledge and the scholarship, talks about knowing about Allah, using your intellectual power to read the signs of Allah. Probably there are more than 15 verbs in the Quran, 15 verbs. Different verbs, but they have the same meaning. Thinking, reading, knowing. إن في ذلك لعبرة للمتوسمين لأولي الألباب. When Allah praised Solomon and David, two of the prophets, when Allah praised them, He did not praise them in the context of wealth or material power. Though He gave them wealth, material power, they were both kings, prophet kings. But in the context of praise, He said, وَآتَيْنَا دَاوُودَ وَسُلَيْمَانَ عِلْمًا. In the context of learning, علما. In the context of scholarship, He could have said, وَآتَيْنَا دَاوُودَ وَسُلَيْمَانَ مَالًا, and this would have been right. Mulkan would have been right. Allah gave Solomon what He didn't give to any king, whether before him or after him. Numerous are, as I said, the references to the significance and importance of learning, as I said. So, again, if we are to truly celebrate the birth of this beacon of light, we are not to leave the book. We are to befriend the book. I can't imagine. It's really inconceivable for a Muslim to go month by month, year by year without reading a book. Without reading a book. Inconceivable. When the first word in your constitution, in this immortal constitution, is Iqra, when was the last book you read? A year ago? 2 years ago? When you'd left the school? We see some of our students, after leaving university, they take their books and tear them into pieces. Tearing them into pieces. Their books. I wonder. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم.